Welcome to Inner Voice of Knowing podcast. I'm Kay Doran, a shamanic leadership coach and healer, guiding you through life with a foot in both worlds. When you understand the terrain of the inner landscapes, the mental, emotional, spiritual and energetic, you will become the leader within your physical life, both personally and professionally. After all, the power of change is in your hands. Let's get this journey started. Welcome back to Inner Voice of Knowing. And I say this every time. I'm excited by my guests, and I think I should be saying that every time. Otherwise, it's not the right guest. But I have sitting in front of me through the screen Adam Thompson, who knows something about presence. As the iconic frontman of Chocolate Starfish, he delivered a #1 hit, gold and platinum albums, an Australian Music Award, commanding stages across the country. But the real story, for me anyway, runs deeper. Adam has spent decades channeling that creative energy into purpose, breathing life into organisations through song, walking alongside Indigenous communities and opening doors for young people who need them most. He comes to us highly recommended as one of the most genuinely spiritual men you'll ever meet. And I can't wait to explore what's beneath the surface. Welcome, Adam.
My pleasure, Kay. It's going to be just great to see where this energy exchange flows and where we can, I guess, discover maybe a little bit more about even ourselves through a conversation. I tend to find that sometimes when sometimes you'll get a question or you'll be in an interview and it will actually raise your own consciousness higher because you were not expecting the question or you were not expecting how you answered it, and then it led on to something deeper and bigger.
I love that, Adam. I've got chills washing all over me, and already you have shown the depth of who you are and the possibility in that depth that we can actually go to in exploring you and your journey and your contribution. So I feel like, usually I'll ask a question. Where do you want to start, Adam?
Oh, look, I guess that's a great question. I think to start with maybe, and this might be, way down the track of where we could have started, but I'm going to start with my why, my reason for being. And you touched on it in the opening, but it's only been the last decade that I've really understood life's purpose. And I don't think that ever changes anyway. I mean, I think your life's purpose is like a river. It can ebb and flow and go in different directions depending on where you're at. But I think broadly, I was really struggling with mental health and anxiety and depression, and gathering tools. But the one that perhaps changed everything was a Reiki professional who was also a friend, and we connected well. Anyway, he was doing a healing on me one day, and he said, "So, what's your life's purpose?" And I said, "Well, I'm a singer." And he said, "No, that's one of your jobs."
Oh,
all right.
Yeah.
And he asked me again. He said, "What's your life's purpose?" And I thought, well, maybe I didn't answer it right. Oh, well, I sing and I entertain. And he said, "You're still talking about your roles in life, right?
Yeah.
Why are you?" And he must have asked me 5 times, and I still wasn't getting it. And he said, "You're not getting it." And he said, "Stop trying to be analytical. Answer it from the heart." And I just paused, and it came out with it, and I just said, to lift people higher.
Oh, that's big. What I love about this, Adam, is there's so many questions I could ask here, but I call them power questions.
Yeah.
And he stayed with the power question, and energetically it's like a little chink, like a little fissure. Ask it again, opens a little bit more. Ask it again, and by the very nature of us, we almost sink deeper into ourselves.
Yeah, well, it's very much like
until that comes.
if
Yeah.
someone asks you, how you're doing, the natural human instinct is go, oh, good, I'm good,
I'm okay.
even if
Yeah.
you're not okay at all.
Yeah.
And he just gently turned up the heat repetitively
Mm.
until it was my higher self or my consciousness giving the answer, as opposed to the day-to-day, not ego filled, but ego driven answer
Yeah.
that, we all, I guess, frame up these pigeonholes based on what we think the world wants to hear.
Did that answer surprise you? Or did
Yeah.
it feel like it landed in a space of home and familiarity?
Well, both. It did both. So it landed, but it also, then I started reflecting on everything that I have done and all the journey thus far, and it gave reason to some of the challenging decisions that I've made
Yeah.
in life, the ones that didn't automatically feel right at the time. It gave reason to those things, and it just allowed me to actually internally nod my head from the inside out.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, everything you're doing, even the bits that sometimes you might be a little sick of, or you might be, in a work context, or they might be mundane, or they might be, repeated many times. They are all there to lift others higher. And I've done a lot of work with a guru called Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, which is the art of living. And, he talks a lot about that and your purpose in life. And for a lot of the time, you hear if you're religious, it's a little bit like the biblical thing about hearing the message, but not really receiving the message.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
I could understand it on a logical level for so long, but I had to truly feel it to
Yes.
understand what.
What led you onto that path? Was it the mental health challenges that you faced, or did it start before?
No, so it started way earlier, and I've done everything from medication to meditation to and everything in between, right?
Yeah.
So, look, I think. So you've just asked a good question there, and that's what I hinted on before.
Yeah.
My natural answer is to say, well, it probably happened when my mum passed away when I was young, and then my sister 2 years later. So my teenagehood was dealing with grief in a profound way. Mum at 14, and then sister at 17. So, I would say that my journey to be challenged by that circumstance and how my reactions are started then. But if I think about it logically now, there've been, probably indicators well before that where I've chosen a path that is inherently my birthright, or my reason to be.
Yes.
And I think many of those, even I can remember before Mum passed, I was always driven by wanting to get the best out of a situation, and I was living in a country. I was a country boy, so I had limited experience and limited influences back in those days.
Yeah.
But the ones that I had, I truly did take on board and wanted to learn from them. And
did the land influence you? Like, as a child, I felt very connected to nature. So being out in the land, were you aware that there was something comforting or connecting to it, or that was more in the background?
Yeah, that was more in the background. And so that was, if I can be honest about that, that was probably something I took for granted. So now that I do gratitudes and I understand what gratitudes are all about.
Yes.
That upbringing, I like probably a lot of country kids, they just whatever, or even kids in general, they just assume that their life is what it should be, and
Yes.
so they're not necessarily grateful for the things that are laid out there that they can learn from. So no, I really think nature and that has been a later learning for me, but I'm immersed in it now with all the work I do in the outback and other places, that I realize, how important and how connected we are to nature in general. And
It's like a full circle. You're brought into the world on land, which, sort of is the background. Well, this is just where I am and what it's like. But sort of doing a full circle, but bringing awareness into it and a deeper purpose into it. That's rather beautiful.
Look, it is. And it's not something, again, not something I thought of until I guess consciously started the journey to be aware. And I think that there's the conscious journey versus when did it start. Like, so yeah, probably pre-mum's passing, it was probably unconscious. But now that I've, had the mental health challenges and I've grown exponentially as a soul, then I realize that the unconscious plays a huge part in that learning as well.
Yes, it does. And what about the music? Was the music with you since you were a young boy?
All right, so that's a big question. How do I unpack that one? That's probably a whole different podcast all on its own.
Is that really? Well, we might have to have you back.
Well, we might. Yes. So my relationship with music now is, and I'm going to say this, completely different to what it was 30 to 40 years ago when I started. So, and that's been part of my unconscious learning as well, where music then was almost like an escapism that I felt I dealt with grief, but I definitely hadn't, because it reared later on in other manifestations.
Yes.
But so back then, yes, music was powerful because it enabled me to feel, it enabled me to express love and emotion when it wasn't a talked about thing in our family. Like, it was many years later that I realized Dad hadn't told me he loved me since I was, since I could remember. So I knew I had to be the one to start that conversation again.
I can relate to that one.
You can relate to that one, yeah. And it was generational, but it was all. It's many things that unfolds for older men, a generation older than me.
Yeah.
So yes, so that music was important then for me to, I guess, and it was balanced with sport and all the other big men stuff that you perceived you had to do back. I was fullback for the football club and, premiership player and all that sort of stuff. But there was a side of me that was aching to be nurtured, but I didn't know how to do it. So the music was great in that respect, but where it's at now. So I've had obviously the success with the band and in a pop rock sense, and I've had the ego highs.
Yeah.
And none of those match now what music does to me when I write a song that I know will never be a number one hit, but cathartically what it does for me now and others on many layers in the onion is so much more powerful. So which is why I paused before, because I still have a band who want the ego-driven rock world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But yet a huge part of me struggles with that to the point where it is those more reflective and deeper aspects of music now that I want to explore much more of.
Is there a meeting point between the two for you?
Another great question. It's something that I guess I'm challenged with all the time. So it's almost like the work that you described before that I do with, and this is probably why I relate to Aboriginal people so well, where they've got a foot in both worlds.
Yes.
Foot in culture world, and they've got a foot in Western world. Okay, so I still feel like I've got a foot in rock and roll, get out there and have a party time, and I'm really good at that. I'm really good at the party, right? I'm excellent at it.
Love it.
But it also fatigues me, and I'm being very open about this. It fatigues me in a way that the spiritual side of sound and music and working with the kids in the community energizes me and is a shared filling of a cup. Whereas me performing as the frontman of Chocolate Starfish, I'm the one pouring the liquid, right?
Yes.
And yes, they'll clap and they'll enjoy it and they'll dance and they'll sing, but they're not really sharing much of themselves back. And I think it's that exchange of, and as a shaman, you'll understand this.
Yeah.
It's that exchange that depletes me, that it's a one-way exchange that I'm giving every fiber and I'm getting a group energy back, but it's not, Is
it not nourishing?
It's superficial.
Yes.
It's surface, right? It's superficial. It's like the difference between what are you going to have for dinner tonight? Are you going to have McDonald's burger that's not really going to nourish you, or you're going to have a home cooked meal that at the end of it, you're going to go, that was made with love, it was ingested with love, and it will work in your cells with love.
What do you get? Because I hear and can totally understand what you're saying, but there must be something somewhere even at that soul level, because that too has been a calling for you to do music.
Yeah, so you're talking about still singing in the band?
Yes, still singing in the band. And I'm watching this in the world a lot actually, Adam, because there's a lot of people that are awakened but they think the spiritual world is separate also somehow from, let's say, the corporate world or their job. And I know for me, because I can't even call it a business. I was pulled into this because I was born this way, right? And then people were seeking me out for 20 years and all the rest of it. And then the calling came from my knowing that I had to re-enter the workforce in my 40s before I looked too old on a piece of paper. And then I went through 11 years and I grew very rapidly, building teams, dismantling teams. I ended up running 7 locations and over 50 staff. But every role I was bullied severely, right? Mm-hmm. Then when I cleared what was happening there, universe, life, whatever you like to call it, goes, right, now we're putting you back into what you're here to do. And you've got this experience over here that you bring with you. But I'd felt a division, right? I was good at the other, but this is my most natural state. And then even my first coach said to me, well, you're either leadership or you're shaman. And I took a journey where I went, and I've taken other people on this journey where it's like, no, actually, you cannot separate these two aspects. They must integrate.
Yeah, and that is a really good explanation. And perhaps the grappling that I'm doing is perhaps not knowing where that sweet spot is.
Yeah.
Okay? And perhaps the holistic side of me, because we have a very similar path, where we have never been the industry's darlings. We have always been, in fact, our peers don't rate us.
Wow.
No. And
really?
Some of them,
I'm getting chills all over me.
Well, some of them may even watch this podcast and not outwardly bullied, but definitely not embraced as one of the group.
Okay.
So
The outcast,
we're definitely the
the
outcast.
lone wolf in terms of band.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
And the reason why I struggle with that is because every performance I do comes from love, comes from heart, comes from love. And it really is like, so, and that's why I've struggled with it, because
Yeah.
the fans that truly know embrace it 100%.
Mm.
But it's almost like you've got to get above the surface level. And I think many of our peers don't either want to or don't think that's us. And that's where I've struggled to find the sweet spot. And
Do they want you in a box? You don't fit
definitely.
somehow, somewhere.
Definitely not the black t-shirt, jeans wearing.
You're not. And I love that. The more I looked into things, I'm like, this man is amazing in expressing himself. It looks like not caring what other people think, but although at a human level, we always have some elements of caring. But you're just up there and this is me and this is what I'm doing and there it is.
Yeah. And that's taken a long time to get to that point. And I guess that's where the frustration has lied, because, I want to be continually free to express that. But of course, a big part of you wants your peers to go, that's great. And look, some do, but it's very small. Yeah, it's very small. And, but is that going to make me regress? No, I can't. And so, like you, living in those two worlds, I know I don't have to, because you don't have to do anything, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, I want to, with the belief that there are many more like me who can exist in both those worlds. And if I can impart love in the right way, and at the end of the show they feel absolute joy and they feel like they've been part of something special, then that's a great thing. That is a wonderful thing.
It is that thing, isn't it? It's that magnetic attraction. So some people will really connect with me, others won't. And the more that connect with me, it grows as I don't care and I deepen my self-acceptance, because there's a layer and then there's another depth, and then because the universe is within us, right? So just another depth and another depth and another depth.
And that's right. And when you think you've gone as deep as you can, you realize you're not even in the kiddie pool yet.
Oh, look, it is so vast.
Yeah.
And I find that exciting. When it's exciting, and then it's like, well, I've just turned 61. I've just had a rebrand when I was 60, and it's like red suit, barefoot, drum. Yeah, this is me. I don't, I don't look the part, do I, as a shaman? I got that in my 20s when I was booked for talks. Who are you? Well, I'm Kay. Well, you don't look the part. You look a lot younger than you sounded on the telephone, But I had more angst about that then, or more of an attitude around it. Whereas now it's like, I don't care. And then I'm curious, who will I be when I'm 62 and who will I be when I'm 70? Same. Because I'm just going to keep going in and exploring.
And you've made me think, what is the biggest challenge that I struggle with in that sweet spot? And I think it is that perception of time. So do I have enough time to be all these things? So you touched on the work I do in the Outback, and you touched on the band, but during the week for the last 10 years and even before that in others, I've been the entertainment director for the biggest tourism company in Australia. So I manage all the entertainment for the Journey Beyond Tourism Group, which is the GAN, the India Pacific, the Rottnest Ferries, the Melbourne Sky Deck. We now have Ayers Rock Resort, so I've been asked to curate Indigenous engagement there as well.
Yeah.
I mean, so time, that's another big question, statement, time in a linear sense, and energy, it has to be managed to live in the world.
Yes. Yeah.
And perhaps that's the reason why I've pushed and pulled and not found the sweet spot as quick as I'd like to.
And perhaps how much energy, because you're eclectic, right? That's obvious. I'm an eclectic. If you came into my home, you would go, sort of, you'd think in your mind this wouldn't work, and yet everyone comes in going, this is beautiful, because it's a reflection of me, so it works, right? I'm very eclectic.
Do you always find yourself that you want to do so much more, and you want to, or have you reasoned with that?
Great question. You've flipped the charts over now. When I was younger and trying to do it all, because I write and I love to write and I love to speak and I love to do the shamanic healing work and I love to do the coaching and do you know what I mean? I love to. And I'm good at all of them without blowing my own up. I'm good at all of them because to me this is how I express energy. This is how I express a depth of truth that also comes, I was born with a knowing, hence the inner voice of knowing. I've had it all my life. But when I was younger, I was a bit more manic, trying to sort of do everything.
Yeah.
And the more I get to know myself and the more I sort of settle in and feel no urgency about it, the more I also realize where I want, rather than time and all the rest of it, it's like, how much energy do I want to go into writing? How much energy do I want to go into speaking? How much energy, or which one's calling me now, in what quantity, if you like?
Yes.
Right. So
and truly listening to that.
Yeah. And then it shifts. So like speaking now is suddenly this bigger calling. I'm seasoned. I'm 61. I've been doing this a long time. It comes from lived and applied experience as well as born knowing and connection. But now it's like, how can I share this energy and touch more people? Yeah. So then it shifts from, healing, and it's all healing work. It's all, I just see myself as a guide that knows the terrain, and I just use these different platforms for. So I don't know if that's making sense.
No, it does, because truly where you, and again, this is gonna sound like it's coming from ego, but it's not. Truly where you put your energy turns to gold. It does for me.
Yeah.
So I could drop the band and even drop Journey Beyond and focus completely on the Aboriginal sector and do my work in the outback.
Yeah.
And I know that I would be successful there and I would create magic there.
But would you miss the others?
But then I'd miss the others.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. It is push and pull, and sometimes it's saying no to others that don't want to hear no. Right? That I'm going to step back for 6 months, or I'm going to, channel my energy here because I think this is where I can do the most effective lifting people higher.
Yes.
Right now.
Yeah.
And the world, as you know, and the universe and spirits and spirit level constantly evolves. So had you asked me this question 5 years ago, where I was putting my energy would have been different pre-COVID, for example.
Yeah.
But
you're a different person.
And I'm a different person.
In the same body. Do you know what I mean? Same working mechanism, the soul, but a different person.
Absolutely. And just accepting, I guess, maybe this is almost like a shamanic intervention that we've had here today, but almost just accepting that it's okay, whichever way you choose to go today. And that's the beauty of life. You wake up to go today and go, right.
Here's the beauty, and I'm going to attribute this particular line for when I walked the Camino 2 years ago and got to the end of it and was waiting in line to do the pilgrim's service in the church. I'm not religious, but you've walked over 800 kilometres and I was in extreme pain. I want to go in and feel the reverence of that experience. We didn't get in there because there were so many pilgrims, but ended up in this most amazing conversation with this couple in front of me. Extraordinary conversation. She was a prison guard from America in high security, top level, dealing with multi-dimensional religions. She was the most beautiful human being. Her husband would go in and he would do Shakespearean plays and bring that to them. And then when we found out, okay, we couldn't get in, I was about to say, oh, divine. And he went, by divine appointment, which is different. It sounds different, lands different from divine timing. And I just saw it all, Adam. I just felt it all. It just landed. So I have to attribute, when I talk now about by divine appointment, to that moment.
Yes.
And I've had so many conversations since, and I see the whole pattern of it, that we're souls around that beautiful table before we come in, and everything is by divine appointment. It's already mapped out in divine calendar.
Yep.
So we need to first address the real world, which is the unseen world, because this one's fleeting, right? And the more that we tune in and we relax and we be like you spoke about, the river flowing over and around the obstacles, and sometimes it becomes rapid, but it's still just doing what it's doing by its truest nature. It ends up exactly where it's meant to be. So for me, that takes away stress. It alleviates fear, because it's like, I know my aspiration. That calling is coming from within my inner voice of knowing, right? Which is source, soul, and the successful self that gives you an aspiration saying, come on, Kay, or come on, Adam. You're already successful. Let me show you the way. When we listen to that, you know, I can't miss those divine appointments if I stay connected with that flow.
I absolutely get it. And if you, like you asked me before, you know, when did that journey start for me? So before I'd even had anxiety and depression, and the band had just started. So I'd really only been toying with it for about 7 or 8 years. And we wrote the song Mountain, and the song Mountain is literally that metaphor. So you talk about divine intervention.
Yeah.
The metaphor is, and I was in a relationship, so I was writing it from the point of a relationship. But now, 30 odd years later, it's so much more spiritual, because the mountain looks strong, but it can be worn away by the elements.
Yes.
And the second line says, I'd rather be a river, because water flow can wash a hill away. You wanted me to fly, but I want to get high.
I listened to that song, Adam, and it's like,
yeah,
divine. Just
that. But that is that whole concept of the river will always find its end. That's above and beyond that relationship I was having that time with that girl. It's the universe saying that's part of, that is you, and that's part of what you're doing.
And don't you love, the further away you get, you look back, because you've got a new perspective, not perception, which is the lenses that we wear, and suddenly it has more sense and more meaning. And you see it, like, one of my grandchildren is only 3.5, and he can do a 300-piece puzzle. And he's not looking for pieces. He's like, that goes there, Grandma. And I mean normal adult pieces. That goes there, that go. And I'm looking and I'm scanning and I can't find the colour match and I feel like that's what it's like. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
We put down a piece, but as we move away from it, the picture is a whole lot clearer, the depth of meaning, the purpose for it.
Oh, absolutely.
Makes so much more sense.
Yeah. And if you look at, you know, so I wrote a song on our second album called Motherless, which is about losing mum. And it's quite a minor key, darker song, and it's very sad. And year before last, on our 30th anniversary, I came to the band and said, right, I want to do Motherless, but I don't want to do it just that way. I want to do it like Madonna's Like a Prayer, because mum's been gone 42 years. I said, yes, we can start with the way that song is dark and meaningful, but like a prayer, I want the gospel ending. And at that moment, I want to announce that not only am I setting my mum's spirit finally free, but I want you to all do the same. And we got a local choir to come out in each town and we sung, and then we changed the chords to a more major, not celebratory, but release.
I can feel it as
You
you're
can feel
talking
it?
about it.
And it was
Ooh.
like everyone stood up like a congregation and clapped along and sung along and just released the darkness. And so I'm getting emotional here now because I'm feeling this.
Yeah, I can see the opening in you.
Yeah. That is the sweet spot, actually.
Mm.
So that is actually marrying all my worlds right there. That's marrying the rock and roll world. That's marrying lifting people higher. It's doing it, yeah, and my own journey.
Wow. I almost feel emotional. I feel humbled that you've just shared that. That's
I
powerful.
didn't realize.
Adam.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I did it, but I didn't realize. That's when you said the looking back. Now, if I look on that, it was way bigger than just doing the song and doing it in that way. It was
Yeah,
literally bringing the worlds together. So
that's healing.
really healing. Yeah,
That's healing.
very much so.
Bringing it in through love, compassion, understanding, and
Hmm.
forgiveness, which is our freedom.
And not just for me. It was not.
Yeah.
And that's how I articulated it just before the choir came on. This is as much for you as it is for me. To anybody who's lost and wants and is just holding on to the negative aspects of loss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean by that? Of course you do.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is powerful. This is really so beautiful. Really, really beautiful. If any listeners are listening to this on the podcast platforms, go and check it out when I put it the video format into YouTube, because you'll see what's happening as much as hear and feel what is happening.
I can feel heat and energy change right now.
Yeah.
It all sits here for me when it happens.
Yes. Yeah. The heart, the bridge.
Yeah, the bridge, exactly.
The bridge to the internal and the outer. Let's take that. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that and taking that journey, Adam. It's humbling and it's incredibly beautiful. The work that you do in the Indigenous communities and with the children, let's bring that into the mix as well, because that's gorgeous. And since we connected on Facebook, when you kindly said yes, that you'll come on and have this, it's not a conversation, it's a journey that we're taking, let's face it, Adam. And watching you with these children and they're drawing all over your head and the joy on you, and you're really immersed and present in it. So I think this is an important component of Adam Thompson and his journey.
It's a massive part. My wife Mel and I struggled. So when I got when the anxiety and depression came to me as a reminder of what that I needed to shift some things, was just after we got married. So we were both around 40, and so we'd been married for 2 years, and we thought, okay, it's time to start looking at a family, having kids. Yeah. And at the time, I was probably doing 30 workshops in Aboriginal communities a year. So almost like every third or fourth week I was out workshop. So I was working a lot with kids. I was a mentor to them, a guide for them, an exchange of energy like you just spoke about. And I've done hundreds of them throughout the last 30 years in community songs and videos and all based around social or human things that needed a community to come together and work out some way forward. And anyway, so Mel and I talked about trying and we did try. Didn't work naturally, so we tried a form of IVF. And the anxiety was, and I need to talk about what that feeling was like at the time, because I loved and still love my wife so completely, and she's the person that I would do anything for in this world.
Yeah.
But having a child just of our own felt every step felt unnatural and not
Okay.
right,
Yeah.
and not right. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we finally talked about it and worked it out, we both agreed that we wouldn't be able to do the great things that we do with all the other kids, um, and that in this life, this is what who we are. And when we really dug deep about it, we realized that our impact on many more kids than just having our own uh, was so immense that that's probably, I had to really listen to the higher consciousness then,
Yeah.
even though biologically Mel's body clock was ticking, and even mine to a large extent of being able to deliver uh,
Yes. Yeah.
for your own child. So in the end, we came to that conclusion, and once we came to it, we were very cool with it and very okay with it, and it still enables us now together to go out and work with kids, either together or separately, and
Yeah.
do great work.
From a relationship perspective, because a lot of people get into relationship, but then they hide things. I've had a lot of conversations with friends lately about the power of truth. And sometimes there's a risk in relationship, whether it's friendship, but definitely in an intimate relationship, like a marriage, partnership, that it might break something, change something, disconnect something. Did you have that, or you both were ready to be honest, to explore and bring that truth? Was there a feeling of risk with that at all?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I think about it now, I mean, I can't speak on behalf of
No, but from your
Mel.
perspective.
From my perspective, yeah, there was a big risk, and uh, because I love her so dearly, you don't want to be the reason someone misses out on something that might have been their part of their birthright,
Yes. Yeah.
right? To be a mother or to be a father, or
Yeah.
so. It was a pretty big call, and um, I don't know, she's either listening in the other room right now. She's probably got tears in her eyes thinking about it right now. But
Yeah.
um, no, I think not. I think I know it's only strengthened our love for each other, and I know we are both on a beautiful path together as a couple. Um,
But
and-
that develops, don't you think, Adam, from them bringing that honesty,
oh,
self-exploration, and then honesty into the relationship?
absolutely.
Yeah.
On our first date, I was brutally honest with her about my, rock and roll history, for example,
Yeah.
and because I knew she was the one for me at this point of
Mm.
my life. And
Yeah.
but 5 years before I met her, I was not. I was probably what I would have deemed an unmarriable kind of guy, right? But as soon as I met her and I knew that she was a gift and she was part of my future,
Yeah.
the thought of not being together, and this is where it all makes sense. When I asked her, I actually pulled out my mum's wedding ring and got down and
Oh,
right
yeah.
for the 5 minutes that God stopped it raining out at the 12 apostles that day. The rest of the day it poured before and after.
By divine appointment.
Divine appointment. By divine appointment, it enabled me 5 minutes to go down and do the whole thing. But she said yes. But then the next thing made me know even more that she was right. She said, even if you didn't ask me, I still would have wanted to stay with you for the rest of my life.
Oh, that's powerful. Yeah,
Yeah, that's really powerful.
that's powerful. Oof. You've got some powerful moments happening there in your life, Adam.
Oh, they're so powerful. And yeah, and I've had to reconcile, on this journey that and not feel them as a burden. And you would understand this as a
Mm,
shaman. Not
mm.
feel them as a burden, but feel them as a gift,
Yes.
right?
Oh, I
Uh,
see everything as a gift these days.
but I'm
You
sure
know,
back in the old days, not a burden, but a responsibility for nobody.
huge responsibility. In fact,
Yes.
when I was first told that I was shaman, before I remembered that I was shaman, I'm like, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
And then felt even when I came into surrender, there was still years because it's that unpacking a little bit, unpacking a little bit more, unpacking a little bit more, until we sort of sit into the seat of the soul, I suppose I could say it, and then go,
Mm.
this is who I am at a really, like, it's like, this is who I am. This is who I am. This, oh,
And I
this is
guess I
who I
just
am.
felt the innate responsibilities as opposed to seeing them as gifts.
Yes.
Long time. And
Yes.
that's only probably shifted in the last 6 or 7 years, to be honest, where now I see all the situations that happen, even the ones that don't look like they're great, as
It's
gifts.
always in there. It's
Yeah,
always in there.
of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It is.
So
And
do you feel, um, people do these throwaway lines and it takes a community to raise a child, and yet a lot of people don't let others come in to help support and
mm,
contribute. So do you feel in a way you are helping to parent, which is really a guide, isn't
mm,
it? To guide these many children in what you bring to these communities and to these lives.
absolutely. And I do safe space and truth telling is the foundation of what I try and bring. And I've learned a million things from Aboriginal communities, but the one thing that overarchingly I learn and still continue to learn is that relationships develop over time,
Yes.
and I know a lot of the mob have been I don't know, just told what they think they wanted to hear, and then that person's used them for a situation, and then
Yeah.
moved on. And the relationships that I have in many families and many communities are because of consistency and not an exchange of what can you do for me, what can I do for you, just
Yeah.
presence. Yeah. And that's
Just
where,
presence.
families that some of their kids come to Melbourne for boarding school, they put me down as someone that the kid can ring if they're in trouble.
That's amazing. So what exactly are you bringing to these children and to these communities? I'm sure it's complex, but
Oh, it's very complex, and it's hard to articulate, but I think real listening to each other, and I think that's the foundation of the music program, is listening to each other. One of my mates, Aboriginal fellow called Sammy Butcher, you might know him as one of the members of the Warumpi band who wrote "My Island Home."
oh yes, yeah.
He's from Pupanya in Northern Territory, and Sammy's just such a great guy. And we wrote a song together, probably 2 or 3 years ago, and it's called Kulila. And Kulila it has many messages, but it's about listening to your inner self, your higher self. It's about listening to each other, but it's about listening to the Jukapa, which is the environment of the community and the
Yeah.
song, right? So it's almost like a
Yeah.
triad. And um, mob have this beautiful thing, which as white fellas, we ask a question and we expect an answer straight away, which almost indicates our listening and our intelligence. But
Yes. Yeah.
but for mob, it's about pausing for an uncomfortable amount of time sometimes before any answer is given, um, rather than making an answer that's not going to serve anyone for good, or it's just to satisfy the moment. So
Yeah.
that's what I try and give that back as much as what I receive it from community, and so that's what I get from the song stuff. But it enables me during that process to, just to yarn to community and particularly kids, just about how they're going, because some of the kids don't have great lives, and they don't
Yeah.
have some stability, and some of that's cultural, some of it's not. So I just try and be a consistent presence,
Mm.
one that's not always physically present, but every time I come back, they can expect um, the same give and take from me,
Building trust.
and building trust. And yeah, it
Yeah.
takes years, and it takes. But the beautiful thing about community is the community outback is pretty connected. So when you're connected with one fella or one
Mhm.
lady, you're pretty much connected with a whole bunch, not only
Yeah.
there, but within other communities. And I might say, I'm going up to this community. Oh, say good day to my cousin, brother, da da da.
Yes.
And
Yes.
he'll give me his number, and literally then I've got someone that I can call when I'm there, and it's all connected. And it's not connected over they did me a business deal, or they sold me a car back, in the 20s or whatever. It
Mhm.
it's all relationship and family through songline and through skin groups and stuff like that.
I
And
can see by the smile on your face just how much it brings you. Can you feel the shift and the impact of what you're bringing to community and these people and these
yeah,
children?
well, you might have seen one of the social media posts. I ran into a young man 12 years
I saw that.
after, and
Yeah.
we were both nearly in tears, right? Like it was,
Wow.
and my friends from the Happiness Co from Perth that were there on the tour with me, that took me out. They were just gobsmacked by how the relationship was, and I've got so many young people like that now who, when they see me, it's literally like seeing a long lost friend that you haven't seen for
Yeah.
such a long time, and it was just a proper embrace of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just beautiful. And not only with Aboriginal communities. I mean, I've done a lot of this stuff in regional Australia, in Western communities, and I just got a text the other day from a young man who he's got to be 40 something now, and he just out of the blue sent me a text saying, because I did a motivation talk at his school about my story and about taking you know, taking risks and
Yeah.
doing your dreams and all that sort of stuff. And out of nowhere, I just get this text on Messenger saying how it changed his life, and those words that I used that day took him on a journey that he may not have. He said, I may not have taken this journey had I not listened to your story that day, and you gave me the bravery to be able to step outside my small community and do some of the things I wanted to do.
Whew.
And
It,
and I'm talking
we
that is
never know
2001,
what's landing.
25 years ago, Kay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he would have been a 15-year-old boy or 16-year-old boy, and he's now over 40, probably, and he's felt enough and I probably get a dozen of those a year from way back.
Mm. What an impact.
Yeah. And so you say we don't have our own kids, but we kind of do.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it takes a community, and you're like the community dad,
Yeah.
and we never know with the words that we speak or the music, that are sung, or the actions that we take. And you've used the word presence, and I love the word presence because of energy.
Hmm.
Words can be dishonest, right? Actions can be dishonest, but energy doesn't lie.
Correct.
It speaks the truth, and it lands through all these different mediums. just sometimes by being silent, sometimes by giving a talk, sometimes by writing lyrics, and but the true presence is what is emanating from the intention, and then you get it brought back to you about the impact and how it's possibly changed the trajectory of somebody's life, and that has to feel fulfilling.
Well, when I told you those stories about community, I was talking physical presence, but you've articulated what it really is. It's really energy and spiritual presence. Because when I'm there, I'm really invested and really. But even when I'm away, I am too. But it's about an exchange that they feel. And that's why. I mean, we do the same thing in India. So I've got a little Indian music center in Mumbai as well.
Yeah.
For disadvantaged kids, and I've got a young couple over there who manage the centre for us, and I've been able to influence them in the same way that they do that for the kids over there now, and they give of their heart and their presence in a way that I see big shifts in some of the kids over there as well. So that's pretty major to be able to pay it forward like that.
You are sharing with this audience, and I'm so grateful for this, the true essence of what is a buzzword within the spiritual community, holding space. I just want the listeners to know that what you have just shared is the true meaning of what it is to hold space. And to hold space means being present and being the presence.
Yeah. And you've articulated that so beautifully, because I just naturally do it because I guess
it's natural.
Natural. Yeah.
It's natural to you. Sometimes we need someone else to say something about what they're witnessing and experiencing about what you're doing, so it lands for us as a gift, and I have people do that, and I'm just like, well, I have no idea. And they'll say, you don't know, Kay, because this is just you. And sometimes it's the most beautiful thing to have someone then, through their words or whatever, like I've just done, to hold the mirror back up and put it back so you can see more of yourself and what you're bringing and the depth of what you're bringing and doing, so that you can unlock more of that and bring even more depth to your presence and impact and gifts to the world. It's beautiful.
And it humbles me. Thank you. I do see myself in the mirror you've held up, and I see it in you as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we just do what we do, and we it's not till we get those sort of texts or we get that, that mirrored observation, do we stop to reflect on what you really are doing, the depth of what you really are doing, and what still is available to do. Like we are the same age. I'm 61 as well. So, but I do generally wake up every day feeling like and I always have, actually. I've always woken up every day feeling that the best is still ahead of me. Like, whereas I know a lot of the people at 60 are looking for, they think that they've done it all, or they think that they know it all, or they think that it's over for them. Whatever over is, you know what I mean?
Whatever over is. No, I'm just getting started in a whole new way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, and it's interesting for me because as a young child, I used to say, I can't wait till I'm older. And friends and people go, what, when you're 18? When you're 21? And I'd go, no, when I'm, I don't know, 50, 60, 60, something like that. And they'd go, what? Why? And I go, I don't know. I just.
So you were saying that when you were 20s and 30s, yeah?
I was saying that when I was 15.
Oh, wow. Okay.
it was just a knowing somehow. I didn't know what. I just had the knowing. And for some reason, some part of me was looking forward to it. Not that I was in a rush for it, Adam, but I just felt like, I don't know, I'd somehow be in the best of me. Do you know what I mean? And then here I am now. I've been speaking for years. I've been speaking all my life. Now I know why at school I was asked consistently to be the one to read out of the Bible or, to read in the classroom or, to speak. And I see that I've been trained, even with music, with the metronome from my aunt who used to teach me piano, who stressed me out no end. But I now look back going, because my husband will go, you have this cadence about you like Churchill. And I'm like, what do you mean like Churchill? And they go, Churchill had this cadence. And I went, like the metronome that I used to have to listen to and do things to when my aunt was teaching me piano, right? So, but I'm ready like now for that big platform. And again, you'd think, oh, geez, I'm 61. But the calling is the calling, isn't it?
It is. And I think growing into your truth is is an important journey. And like I said at the start of the interview, our truth and our current status changes. But to continuously, grow like that river to its death, to its ultimate end, which is obviously returning home to the spirit world.
Yeah.
It's just magnificent. What's possible if you just don't have blinkers and you don't have boundaries and
untether ourselves and surrender.
Yeah,
knowing that it's all in divine appointment, so we can't control it. We've just got to keep being guided through it.
Let me ask you one more. How do you come up against the challenges of others' expectations of you, and how do you deal with them? So people may have expectations of you based on your past, your relationship with them 40 years ago, 50 years ago. And
expectations because I'm a shaman and they don't want me to be human. So when I'm human, it's like, I would have expected better from you, Kay. And I'm like,
all of those things. How do you deal with others' expectations of you in a way that keeps your energy high and hopefully helps them be less judgmental and less demanding of what their expectation is of you?
Wow, that's a huge, huge question. Powerful question. I love it. First thing is, I can't change how they view me, or they're wearing their own lenses.
Yeah.
Right. So that intention I've learnt to go, I can't do. So I had to learn, but I want them to see me or understand me or, and you try to. And then I realized, but they've got their own lenses going on, their own underlying stories, their own path and purpose in this. So I have to let go of trying to change that. Then I need to, or what I do is I do what I say, turn my vision inwards. And I start asking myself questions and asking source questions within meditation. It's like always go straight to source, don't go the middleman, go straight to the one that knows. And then also, but asking myself questions, if I have this desire from them, what is it in me? What aspect of me am I not bringing acceptance to? Or questions of that kind of nature, right? Why am I needing that reflected, and why am I then wanting to try to change something within?
But is that different? Like you asked me the question before about my life in finding that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Someone that you love, but they're almost polar opposite to you in terms of, and you have a relationship with them, something that's familiar, as in family. Sometimes it's someone you have to be with for one reason or another.
Yeah.
You find that sweet spot, like you talk, and is that if that person's not even on the path to finding the sweet spot?
Okay, yeah, because my family don't get me. They don't even ask about anything about my podcasts, my shamanic side, right. And I spent
Are you talking about your siblings and
my siblings back in Melbourne? Yeah.
Yep.
Love them, but I doubt they're listening, but love them.
Yeah.
But I always wanted them to understand but I see myself now that I live in a world that they can't even begin to comprehend.
Mhm.
It would be like asking them, like going to another country. And so listening to me speak at times would probably be like listening to a different language, even though I think I speak in very simple terms. I take complex and I bring simplicity to it. Who I am, how I am, what I do, what I write about, what I speak about, how I see the world through the internal and external lens, the energetic and the physical. So again, what I've learned to do is to go, I see my life like a dartboard, right? When I hit the bullseye, they're the very few people that come in and they just accept me, they get me. There's a resonance, there's a safety in terms of they can see the light and dark in me and see it all just as beautiful. Kay's horribly human and perfectly imperfect, and boy, she's got some wisdom and divinity about her, right? Yeah. And then I see the barrier around that, and then the barrier around that. And I've learnt to allow people to be in my life, the whole dartboard, but they sit in different spaces. So when I catch up, for example, with my family, I don't play a game anymore, right? So I don't always fill up the space with conversation to make them feel comfortable. I don't bring certain aspects of me to the table that I would love, like conversations like this and with my closest friends, because we like to go deep, right? So I'll play surface for a little while. Or when I can't do the surface thing, I'll just sit and be present and bring my presence.
Yep.
But I don't try to play that game anymore because it's the most uncomfortable kind of game and it betrays me and who I am. So I accept the world they live in. I see the love within them. I see their fears, their insecurities in certain behaviors, but I see the light in them. And then I just accept that they would be so uncomfortable with me at times if I was insistent on whatever.
Yeah.
Does that answer the question?
So much greater than you could ever imagine. Perfectly, in fact. Thank you. That's exactly what I needed to hear.
Oh, bless. And thank you for asking the question, because I love those moments where it's like, oh, I've got to let that travel in. I have to reflect.
Yeah.
So I'm not just giving that instant, you were talking about in community, sitting in that space, letting it land. I don't just want to give a surface answer. It's something that changes me because it's a depth of question that helps me see and feel and know, where am I with this?
Yeah, and almost like you've articulated exactly my life in that same realm. So I realize I can't.
That will get
I can't grow. I can't grow something that doesn't want to grow.
And in that, okay, this leads us into something else. I hope I'm not taking too much of your time.
I hope you guys all love this too.
Oh, I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. In that, we give them the space and the opportunity to grow, but not according to us or our time frame. Just like that child that comes back to you as an adult and says to you, you have no idea what that talk did for me. Mm-hmm. Right? But when we have the expectation, we've got energetic attachments in a way, we're saying you're not good enough the way you are.
Yeah. Even though we didn't mean to say that, or even
though that wasn't our intention, energetically, that's what's happening, right? But this is also where intention is important when people go through conflict. It's like, was it your intention to hurt me when you said that? No. Or, well, yeah, damn right it was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Intention is everything, and it helps us to stop filtering through our filters. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, you've triggered something in me, it's like, but was that in your, what was your intention in what just happened? So when we don't have that and we do what we just spoke about, we're saying you are enough. I'm enough. You are enough. And in that, we leave them a gift.
Yes.
And in that seed may or may not sprout, and we don't know how long it takes, even if it does. But we actually give them that opportunity. That is a gift.
I love it. It's I should I don't know, did you get the opportunity? One of my proudest moments of late is I wrote a song called The Promise, and it's out on all the platforms.
Yeah.
And it's basically me making a promise to my younger self to truly listen to him.
Yes.
And it's so funny. We were in the car last night driving back from my hometown, and Miley Cyrus has just released a song almost identical called Hello, It's Me, Younger Me song. And it's,
wow.
And I know, right? And I just said to my wife, that's basically Miley's version of The Promise. She goes, it is. And it's just saying the same thing.
There's something rippling out.
Something rippling out, that's right.
Around the world.
Yeah. And division will often create that. Those who really need to, who might have been a bit ambivalent about, following their path or their gifts now know that they have to or they should.
I had an experience. I wrote a post about it when I was soaking in the bath, getting ready on that cusp of turning 61, put on some beautiful meditation music, sort of went into a meditation, and I started to have all these visions and memories, and I went straight into like it wasn't a planned shamanic journey, but from birth and memories. I've never had a memory of when I was in Papua New Guinea. I went there when I was 6 months old and had 4 years being raised there. And I had a memory from there and all these different memories and memories I'd forgotten. But it was like a gathering up of all these aspects. So the orphanage doesn't exist anymore. It's just, this is Kay, right? Integration. And then I had my 80-year-old speak to me.
Wow.
It's one of those things like we always say, what would you say to your child? Well, it's like then my 80-year-old was there speaking to me and said things that I thought, wow, and then reminded me of a time when I was in my 20s traveling around Australia with my first husband and my firstborn, and walked up the stairs in a place in Cairns, had no idea why. This woman walks out with a client. She looks at me and I felt the energy and she's like, you're here to see me. And I'm like, yeah, what do you do? She did this reading where she described everywhere I'd been, everything that had happened, like perfectly. Artwork on walls. So there was no denying, right, the truth. And then she told me about a future that I've already lived that I could not have comprehended then. Like, what's she talking about, right? Yeah. And my 80-year-old was saying, what I'm telling you now is like that moment, Kay. Just because you can't comprehend it doesn't mean it's not truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know why I'm telling you that, but maybe you need to have a conversation, bring forward your 80-year-old, because there's no such thing as time. There's no past lives and future lives. They're all overlaid us now. They're all now. Yes. So we can shamanically go in there. And I've had conversations with the Kay that didn't leave the first relationship and the Kay that did, which helped me decide, this was way back then, right, as to It's part of my decision-making process.
Mhm.
So it's, we have all this support, not just in the scene world, like the support that you're giving to your
No,
audience and community and the beautiful people in your life, but there's the support in the unseen
in the spirit
as
world.
well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do know that I've been guided and loved in many ways, and from that soul contract or whatever
Yeah.
you term it as, or we like to term it as, and the more I become present to it, the more I feel it.
Adam, I could just keep talking to you. This
We
has
should
been a
probably do it again.
beautiful exchange. I would love to. Yes, I would. I think there's just so much there, and you've offered so much depth and openness and authenticity. It's been an absolute honour. This podcast is called Inner Voice of Knowing. So, do you feel you have an inner voice of knowing? And if so, how has it served you?
Yeah, so I think that inner voice of knowing, and we've touched on it several times in this conversation, I think it's always been there. Fear or conflict or grief have made it doubt itself many times, actually. And again, I'm going to hark back to the river metaphor. Some of the tributaries have taken off, but then probably by divine appointment as well, they've dried up. So the water was forced to go back to the mainstream and find itself again.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
and if I look at the body of water now, which is the inner knowing for me, body of water now is as wide and as strong a current as I've ever experienced it, ever. But I still know it can be one of the biggest rivers ever known, still. And I think as long as I keep trusting the flow of inner knowing and the river and all the metaphors and guides and everything that come with it, it's all going to take place as it should.
Adam, I feel truly, truly blessed to have crossed paths with you. I'm going to have to go send a voice clip to my beautiful producer, who's become a friend over the years. I feel truly blessed for you having brought this story, this conversation to not just myself, but to all the listeners. And thank you so much, Adam, for what you're bringing to this world. It is truly beautiful. And after this conversational journey with you, I can bear witness to the presence that you do bring and the heart and the authenticity. And I'm in deep gratitude. Thank you so much.
And I am as well, just for your openness. And these conversations, as you know, don't come openly with every human soul.
Yeah.
And when it does, it does promote greater levels of understanding and love. And that's all I want to do by keeping on lifting others higher. So if you and I have done that together on this podcast, then I think it's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Join me on my next episode. And if you love this podcast, please subscribe by clicking on the plus button if you're on Apple, or like and follow on Spotify. Rate and review. And please share Inner Voice of Knowing with your friends.